She was told the internet was no place for a girl like her. Today, she has over 4 million followers across platforms, and brands from around the world are lining up to work with her. Hello everyone, welcome back to TIK TOOME. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Laura Amaya, the Colombian content creator, model, and cosplayer who turned her unapologetic authenticity into a full-blown digital empire. From the streets of Bogotá to brand deals with global beauty names, this is not just a story of going viral. This is a story of resilience, reinvention, and building real income from the ground up. But before she became the powerhouse creator you see today, there was a young girl navigating a world that didn't quite know what to do with her. And that beginning, it's where everything started. Laura Amaya was born on July 24th in Bogotá, Colombia, the vibrant, electric capital city that pulses with creativity, color, and culture. Growing up as a Leo in one of Latin America's most dynamic cities, Laura was surrounded by energy and passion from an early age. Colombia has always been a country of storytellers, a place where beauty takes many forms, where identity runs deep, and where creative expression is woven into everyday life. And for Laura, that spirit of self-expression would become the foundation of everything she'd eventually build. She grew up in Bogotá with a natural curiosity for style, fashion, and aesthetics, a girl who loved to play with her appearance, experiment with makeup, and lose herself in the world of characters and fantasy. Those childhood passions, which might have seemed like simple hobbies at the time, were quietly shaping the creator she would one day become. But growing up also meant confronting a world with very specific ideas about how a young woman should look, and that would bring challenges she never expected. Like so many young women, Laura's teenage years were not without their battles. Growing up in a society that celebrated a narrow, rigid standard of beauty, she felt the weight of comparison from an early age. The message from the world around her was clear. There was a right way to look, and she didn't always fit that mold. Social media, which was beginning to explode in popularity during her formative years, often made things harder, not easier. Every scroll offered images of curated perfection, filtered faces, and body standards that felt impossible to meet. For a girl who loved fashion and cosplay, seeing so few people who looked like her in the spaces she admired was quietly discouraging. There were moments of self-doubt, moments where she questioned whether she belonged in front of a camera at all, moments where confidence felt like something other people had, not her. But here's what the world didn't know yet. Those very doubts were building something, a fire, a fierce determination to show up exactly as she was, unapologetically, authentically, and on her own terms. The question was, what would finally push her to take that first step? For a young woman who dreamed of modeling and creative work, the path forward was anything but straightforward. The traditional industry, agencies, casting calls, conventional standards wasn't built with someone like Laura in mind. The doors that were supposed to be open for ambitious, talented women had very specific requirements, and too often those requirements had more to do with size and appearance than with skill, charisma, or creative vision. She encountered the quiet rejection that so many young women know too well, the kind that doesn't come with a door slamming in your face, but with a silence, "we'll call you," a standard that was never designed to include you. Economic reality added another layer of pressure. Building a creative career from scratch in a city like Bogotá without industry connections or a financial safety net was a genuine challenge. The dreams were big, the resources were limited. But what Laura was learning, even if she didn't realize it yet, was that the traditional path wasn't the only path. In fact, for someone with her creativity and charisma, it might not have been the right path at all. And that realization, it was about to change everything, including her bank account. Every creator has a moment, a turning point where something shifts internally, where the fear of being seen becomes smaller than the cost of staying invisible. For Laura Amaya, that moment came when she made a decision that sounds simple but takes enormous courage. She decided to show up as herself, fully and without apology. No filtered down version, no shrinking to fit someone else's idea of what was acceptable, no waiting for permission from an industry that hadn't made space for her. Just Laura, her real face, her real style, her real energy brought to life through the one tool she had always had access to, a camera and the internet. It was a quiet but powerful act of self-acceptance. She stopped waiting for external validation and started creating from a place of genuine joy. The cosplay content she'd always loved, the fashion looks that felt like her, the personality that lit up every frame she stepped into. That authenticity, raw, unfiltered, and real, was about to connect with millions of people who had been waiting for exactly this. And the numbers that followed, nobody saw them coming. Starting around 2021, Laura began posting consistently across platforms, particularly TikTok and Instagram. Her early content blended her love of fashion, cosplay transformations, beauty looks, and lifestyle moments into a feed that felt fresh, vivid, and entirely her own. Those first posts didn't go viral overnight, but they did something arguably more important. They found their people. Every upload was a small act of courage, putting herself out there, experimenting with what resonated, refining her visual style, and learning the language of social media content creation in real time. Her camera-forward approach, confident, expressive, and visually engaging, began to build a loyal early audience. People weren't just watching her content, they were sharing it, commenting, coming back for more. At a time when so much social media content felt manufactured and distant, Laura's authenticity was a breath of fresh air. She felt real because she was real. And once that early community started to grow, the algorithm noticed. The real explosion was just around the corner. What happened next was the kind of growth that changes a creator's life. Laura's content began reaching far beyond her initial audience. Reels were shared across Facebook, TikTok clips were passed from phone to phone, and her distinctive visual presence started circulating through algorithm-driven feeds across Latin America and beyond. Her TikTok accounts at LauAmaya07 and Laura02AV together accumulated millions of followers, with combined likes surpassing 80 million. On Instagram, her account at laura.amaya.v climbed past 400,000 followers. On Facebook, she built a community of nearly 1 million engaged fans. The growth wasn't just in numbers, it was in connection. Her comment sections filled with messages from women who saw themselves reflected in her content, women who appreciated seeing someone embrace a fuller figure, a bold aesthetic, a multi-dimensional personality without apology. Laura was building something that went beyond follower counts. She was building trust, and in the world of digital influence, trust is the most valuable currency. Because brands, they know exactly how to find it. With a loyal, engaged audience spanning multiple platforms, the commercial opportunities were inevitable, and Laura embraced them strategically. Her first documented brand partnerships included collaborations with beauty and lifestyle brands like SheGlam and Glow Wode, names that recognized the power of authentic creators to reach real audiences in ways that traditional advertising simply cannot. These weren't just logo placements, these were genuine content integrations woven naturally into the style of content her audience already loved. For an influencer at her level, with hundreds of thousands of engaged followers on Instagram and millions on TikTok, industry estimates suggest that sponsored posts can command anywhere from several hundred to several $1,000s per piece of content, depending on the platform, deliverables, and exclusivity terms. But brand deals were only one piece of the puzzle. Laura also leverages community platforms and exclusive content channels, diversifying her income streams beyond any single sponsor or platform. It's the kind of multi-channel monetization strategy that transforms a social media presence from a hobby into a business. The girl who once wondered if she had a future in the creative industry was now the one that brands were reaching out to. Today, Laura Amaya's commercial presence reflects the full arc of her journey, from a young creator finding her voice in Bogotá to a multi-platform influencer with genuine business leverage. Across her combined platforms, she commands a community of over 4 million followers and fans, a reach that puts her firmly in the category of creators that brands take seriously. Her content consistently generates high engagement, particularly in fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and cosplay categories, giving her collaborators access to an audience that is active, passionate, and loyal. She maintains a business contact email at lauamaya07contact@gmail.com, publicly listed across all her platforms, a clear signal that she operates her presence with professional intent. Her YouTube